What? No? No? Really? Okay. So my account was disabled by Google because they thought I was a bot. But after asking very, very nicely, they enabled my account again. I hope you didn't miss me too much. I wanted to make this whole bit that Google is trying to silence me. That's where the title is from. But to be completely honest, they were actually very, very fast with the account recovery. The account was enabled after like 10 hours on a Sunday, even though they said it would take 2 days or longer, so... Thank you, Google! I actually wrote a whole dramatic poem about this. Google thought I was a bot, though I was not. They wanted me caught, but then it got hot. Day and night we fought, in the same spot. But after long plot, then I got. And before getting started, if you're only interested in the developing part, which is completely fine, I have timestamps in the description. For some reason, they didn't show up on the timeline in the last video, even though I watched an official tutorial for adding timestamps. So thanks, YouTube creators, for lying. More like YouTube liars. But I especially want to thank you guys. I don't want to make this part of the video too long because I think those kind of sections are a drag. But the support and feedback on the last video was just insane. Seeing your guys' feedback really motivates me to continue making the game and videos for you. And I hope and promise the videos will keep improving. Oh, and here's all of you guys if every one of you was represented by a Moai, the height of an average human, and dropped onto the Grand Canyon. I will probably do more simulations like these in the future, so if you want to be part of those, definitely consider subscribing. This video unfortunately took way longer to release than I wanted it to because of the Google thing, and the last few days or weeks have been very busy for me. But the next few weeks should be totally free for me, so I'll have time to work on the videos. The next video should hopefully release on one of the coming weekends. So let's get into the first segment of the video. The 3 underrated games for this week are Eternity Egg by Userlands. It's a satisfying platformer with a retro-y art style and a great moveset. All of these traits are in a cute open world with lots of interactions, enemies, friends and collectibles. It's a great game to play while watching a video or focusing on the game, or both, and you feel really cool while playing it. You should definitely check it out. It's Eternity Egg by Userlands. The next game is Falling Face Fragments by Asham Arcade. It's basically Tetris but with a unique twist and a very unique art style. There's even one skin for the people that like collecting skins out there. It's strangely fun, addicting, and you feel really cool while playing it. So it's Falling Face Fragments by Asham Arcade. The last game for this week is Window Kill by Torcado. It's a bullet hell, but it plays on your desktop. It's hard to explain, but you'll see it in the video anyways. The player and each enemy has its own window. It's easy at first, but it becomes harder and harder the more time passes. But you can obviously also collect items to become more powerful. It's very creative, satisfying, and you feel really cool while playing it. Again, it's Window Kill by Torcado. Definitely check out this and all other games I've mentioned. Like, now. Some other things before we get into the meat of this devlog. Multiple people have asked me to show photos of my plants because I mentioned them in the last video. Which is stupid. Not of them, but of me, because I put photos of the plants in the Premiere Pro project of the last video. But I just didn't show them. So here's Dimitri, here's Stanislav, with my cool wall of circuits next to him. And here's Michael. 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 Now it's time to check in on the development part. Remember, this was like a week or two ago because I was so busy the last few days. The next devlog will be more up to date. On day 1, I started looking into Sprite, the pixel art program. And I have to say, it really is the best program for pixel art. In the past, I have only ever used the built-in image editor for Game Maker Studio 2 or Microsoft Paint. And with both of them, I was amazed with the balance of simplicity and possibilities. But Sprite is just a different level. It's just so good. On day 2, I also continued with learning Sprite. But after making the first test sprite and trying to implement it, it made me realize how rushed all of the previously built systems of the game were. It was hard to continue building onto the systems and changing small things. So instead of putting a band-aid on a broken pillar, if that isn't an idiom yet, then it is now, I restarted making the core systems. Now I am taking my time to properly make systems that aren't on the brink of collapse or horrible to work with. On day 3, I was also learning Sprite, and I continued writing the story. There's not really much more to say about day 3. Then on day 4, something big happened. The day started off normal. I finished learning Sprite and I worked on the systems. But then, after not checking on the first devlog for 2 days, 2,000 views, 300 likes and subscribers, I cannot tell you how much I logged in. And with logging in, I meant replying to comments for 3 hours. Then, on day 5, I started making the devlog. And pretty much every day after that, I was busy. If we continue talking days, then I'm currently recording this on day 15. So yeah, I was a little busy. But like I said, I should be completely free from now on. So hopefully there will be consistent videos. But now, let's get to the best part of the video. The game! Yeah, no, I haven't had too much time to work on the actual game yet. So I'll tell you about the current story as compensation, okay? Close your eyes and immerse yourself. Remember that nothing is finished yet, so keep that in mind. Every bit of feedback is very, very appreciated. Everything starts on your home planet, surrounded by crowds of people, the press, your family and friends. You, the player, are part of a major space expedition. After launching and spending some time getting used to the base movement and looking around the ship, something crazy happens. Your home planet explodes. Oh, no! Or something else happens. I still need to figure this out. But something big and scary and epic happens. The ship that you're in gets damaged badly and everyone panics as alarms fire. You need to run towards the emergency pods while everything is breaking down in the background and going up in flames. When running to the pods, you have to lift broken beams and other objects out of your way. Some of these items are physics-based, so you subconsciously learn how the interaction with the physics and gravity and weight system works. You are about to enter the emergency capsule when you find a wounded woman and help her get into the emergency pod too. For one reason or another, which I still haven't figured out yet, when the pod gets launched away from the ship and into space, you get knocked out. I thought about it being a loose panel that hits your head and it being like a fun Subnautica reference, but I feel like the whole game has been a Subnautica reference, so I'm not sure yet. Tell me what you think in the comments. The pod you were in got launched into space, but luckily got caught by the equivalent of the, I think it's a Kuiper belt that our solar system has.
This is Kuiper, not Cooper or Kuiper.
Okay, you did not have to call me out like that. Anyways, you wake up, still alive, obviously. And now you have to step out of the pod and gather basic resources. This is where you learn how to move, craft, and collect resources in space. After gathering and building the right things, you launch the safety pod onto the nearest planet. Now that you're on a stable landmass, you have enough time to reorganize before getting started. After inspecting and scanning the woman's wound, you find out that the wound caused an infection or some sort of poisoning. Unfortunately, there's no cure for her injury in the first aid kit that was located in the pod. So you go out and try to find a cure and other astronauts. This is where the tutorial is over and the main gameplay loop starts. You gather resources, build bases, tools and vehicles, explore, scan and go deeper into the rabbit hole, which is the universe and the questionable questionable evidence you find. Your goals for this part are collecting resources, upgrading your equipment and adapting to the different environments. And finding other survivors, evidence and a cure to the woman's injury, which is the first major goal. Another goal is figuring out all kinds of questions like, how could something like this even happen? Why did the planet get destroyed? Why are the ships of old, supposedly ongoing space missions abandoned? Why was nobody ever told about the earlier astronaut deaths? And is there something greater out there? As you can hopefully tell, I've already tried putting a lot of thought into when and where the player can naturally learn the mechanics and story elements of the game. I have about 14 unique and explorable regions in mind. And I'm saying regions because not everything is a planet or a solid landmass that you can stand on. But I definitely don't want to get too ambitious because scope creep is the thing that killed most of my projects. That's why my current goal is just to get the demo done, but more on that later. The further you progress, the less and less you can trust sounds and visuals like radio messages, due to them being hallucinations caused by the main character's deteriorating mental health. That's because of a mechanic I like to call the moral meter. The moral meter basically represents how sane the player character is. It starts rather high, but the further the story progresses, the lower it gets and the more the mental health worsens. Like I said, it lowers naturally when playing normally, like when someone dies or you just find a black box where you're expected to find a living person. The moral meter can raise too sometimes. But when you go out of your way to do disgraceful things, like for example, killing innocent creatures for no reason, or refusing to check on a wounded person, the moral meter will drop as well. You generally want to keep it on the higher side because the game gets harder when it's lower. But if you keep the moral meter low, which you have to deliberately do if you want it to be low, then you might get a different ending. Here are some of the characters that will currently be focused on during the story, or the game. First off, we have the player character, which I honestly don't know much about myself. I don't want to make them too far fleshed out. If you don't know, in lots of games the protagonist is often very silent and doesn't have much of a real personality. We can see examples for this in GTA 5 where Franklin is very neutral and usually a observer, or in Zelda where Link has basically no personality. This is because players often connect to shells of a character more. There's nothing that the player can't relate to, so we can easily see ourselves as that character. For our next individual, there's Emma the Scientist. I still don't know if that's going to be the actual name, but it's the first name that came to my mind, so yeah. She's the one that escapes with you in the pod. It's supposed to give you the feeling of hope even when she's wounded. The next one is the UI AI. It's basically the PDA from Subnautica of this game, but it will be focused on more thoroughly. It's built into every tool, every base, every vehicle, which is important for later. And it also feels like a reflection of our current world. Because you got launched so far away from the ship and your home planet, the connection to the AI's data gets disconnected and it runs on local data. This basically makes the AI useless. So the more stuff you scan, the more the AI learns. But the more you find out about everything, the more the AI finds out. And because the AI belongs to the space company which sent you on this mission, I hope you know where this is going. If we really want to make the story progress in a way where the company knew the missions would fail and maybe even wanted you to die, there would be a turning point in which the AI figures out that you weren't actually supposed to survive. I think if we pull off this plot point correctly, it would make a really interesting concept and something that I personally haven't really seen before. Last but probably least on the character list is the demo guy. You might think, what? Who is the demo guy? Well, I'm glad you asked, my dearest viewer. I always think it's really cool when the demo of a game is different than the full game. So I had the idea that you play a different crew member of the space expedition in the demo. With this character, you can go through a shorter gameplay loop on different parts on a different planet that the main character is on. Eventually, there will be a point where you meet the character of the main story. And before you think, you forced this character into the main story just because you thought it was cool, it won't feel natural in the story's progression. No, you're wrong. I actually already intended on you meeting a person in the main story. I just thought it can be a great opportunity for character development, story and gameplay reasons. See the story of a side character before it continues in the main story. Also, I think for the people playing the demo, it's a pretty good hook standing right in front of the character and then the demo ending. That's the base story of the game. I have some more details figured out, but I don't want to spoil too much. Like I said, nothing from the gameplay to the story is finished yet. So I would love hearing feedback and suggestions from you guys. I actually have a few questions for you. What do you think of the story so far? What would you change? Do you think it's interesting? Would you add more characters? I will probably add more characters, but still, what kind of characters would you add? Would it be good to have an intelligent alien species? Is it a good idea that the whole planet gets destroyed? And if so, when all of humanity is dead, then what is the end goal supposed to be? Also, we grew so fast that I think it's justified to start thinking of a community name now. This won't happen immediately, because I think we still need to get to know each other a little bit better, because I have only posted one video. And please do not make it something corny like The Outcasts, because I think you deserve something fitting and creative and better. As soon as I have a few suggestions that I think are good, I will make a community post or poll, I don't know, when I figure out how to make one, because I still don't know how. And just as a disclaimer, I will probably start posting some YouTube shorts soon that may or may not be related to the devlogs. So keep an eye out for that. And I think I may have already said this, but I intend on posting other videos on other topics too. But the devlogs will still obviously be posted regularly, and be one of the main focuses on this channel, so don't worry. Also, I have socials now. I'll post updates, things, whatchamacallits, doodads, and gizmos on there. And if my account gets disabled again, I can let you know. So if you're interested, it's at limitedluki on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, Twitch, and all that kind of stuff. I would appreciate it a lot. And I think that's basically it from me. So thank you guys for your support. And like, subscribe, comment, share, hype. I don't know what the hype button does, but hype, I guess. And yeah. Bye.